Good evening, I'm Michael, and you're watching Kini News, the show that brings you today's biggest stories. An Umno Supreme Council member wants BN lawmakers to pull its support for the current administration if their Budget 2021 demands are not met.
Umno Supreme Council member Puad Zarkashi has urged BN lawmakers to take the plunge and withdraw their support from Prime Minister Muhyiddin Yassin. He said, "This is as the party's demands have not been met, which are making the Employee Provident Fund's i-Sinar program more accessible and an automatic loan moratorium." In a Facebook post today, he said that while it may seem like kamikaze, it was not wrong as it was being done for the people. He added that maybe not all BN backbenchers would be willing to withdraw their support, but having 5 or even 3 would be okay, and urged them to use their conscience. Puad also cited BN Backbenchers Club chairperson Najib Abdulrazak's warning that they would take action if their demands were not met. Umno and BN have been demanding that the government make it easier for more people to make withdrawals from their EPF savings through the i-Sinar program. Currently, Muhyiddin's Pakatan national government has the support of 111 MPs, which is a slim one-vote majority. There are currently only 220 lawmakers in the Dewan Rakyat.
PKR President Anwar Ibrahim believes that all is well in Pakatan Harapan, despite Amanah and DAP calling for a political reset or a grand coalition.
PKR President Anwar Ibrahim said there were no problems within the Pakatan Harapan coalition. He said this in response to a question on a joint statement by the Amanah and DAP leaders.
Cik Suri nak tanya sikit pasal kenyataan bersama Amanah dengan DAP kan?
Tak apa, itu dia dah jelaskan kepada saya. Dia suruh bawa dalam mesyuarat, we move on. Tak ada masalah. Dan siang pun bagi penjelasan lah.
Anwar was speaking to reporters after meeting with the party grassroots today. On a question about ousting Prime Minister Muhyiddin Yassin, this was what he had to say.
Kerajaan pimpinan Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin mampu ditumbangkan sebelum PRU ataupun kita perlu tunggu PRU?
Diharapkan dapat ditumbangkan segera.
However, Anwar did not respond to questions on whether he still had the numbers. Anwar has been under pressure since declaring on September 23rd that he had the numbers in Parliament to oust Muhyiddin. However, during the Dewan Rakyat sitting from October until mid-December, it was clear that Muhyiddin commanded the support of the majority of the MPs. Following this, DAP Secretary General Lim Guan Eng and Amanah President Muhammad Sabu had called for a political reset to focus on uniting their friends amongst the opposition MPs who stood by them in the vote against the budget. The duo added that Harapan should no longer waste time with opportunistic backbenchers whom they said were trying to exploit the opposition to get lucrative deals from the PN government.
Pejuang Pro Tem President Mukhlis Mahathir said the party will consider several options if the need arises for GE15.
Pejuang Pro Tem President Mukhlis Mahathir said that the party is willing to contest the next general election as part of a coalition. This is as Pejuang has yet to be approved by the Registrar of Societies. Mukhlis added that there were several possibilities and they were open to ensuring that they enter the general election as part of a formal coalition. When asked whether Pejuang could contest under Warisan ticket if the Sabah party expands to the peninsula, Mukhlis replied that they would not contest as independents and it would be best for Pejuang to be part of a political party. He added that the party had several options which they are weighing. On Pejuang's preparations for GE15, he said that the party had to be realistic. He said contesting alone would be difficult, but a decision or approach will be put in place before GE15. Originally, when former Prime Minister Dr. Mahathir Mohamad announced Pejuang's formation, he said it would be as an independent force that could act as a kingmaker. Earlier this month, Pejuang filed a judicial review at the Kuala Lumpur High Court to compel the registrars of societies to make a decision regarding the party's registration status.
Now let's take a look at the country's latest COVID-19 situation.
Malaysia has recorded 1,581 new cases of COVID-19 today, bringing the cumulative confirmed cases in the country to 100,318. Total active cases in the country are at 18,773. From the local cases, Selangor reported the highest number of new cases with 491 infections. This was followed by Kuala Lumpur with 379 cases, and Sabah with 249 cases. Negeri Sembilan recorded 144 cases, and Johor had 115. 2 new deaths were also recorded today, taking the death toll from COVID-19 in the country to 446. Both deaths were reported in Sabah. Meanwhile, in a press conference today, Senior Minister Ismail Sabri Yaakob said that employers who fail to comply with a mandatory COVID-19 screening for their foreign workers will face stern action from next year.
KSM memaklumkan, Kementerian Sumber Manusia memaklumkan, masih terdapat ramai majikan yang enggan memberikan kerjasama untuk mematuhi arahan ini. Sehubungan dengan itu, sidang khas malam bersetuju untuk menguatkuasakan arahan ini bermula 1 Januari 2021 di bawah Akta 342, di mana majikan yang gagal mematuhi arahan ini akan dikenakan tindakan undang-undang dan penalti.
Anwar Ibrahim praised the IGP's decision to reschedule its meeting with former Finance Minister Lim Guan Eng.
PKR President Anwar Ibrahim has lauded the police's decision to reschedule the questioning of former Finance Minister Lim Guan Eng. Lim was supposed to be questioned by police today over 2 press releases which he issued in 2019, but this has now been postponed to sometime next year. In a statement last night, Anwar said that the sudden timing of the police inquiry and summoning of Lim, a day before Christmas, raised concerns from all quarters including MPs on both sides of the divide, and the police risked being perceived as being politically biased and vindictive. However, he said Inspector General of Police Abdul Hamid Badar's decision to move Lim's questioning to next year has helped to an extent in addressing these negative perceptions. He added that the personal touch by the IGP in apologizing to Lim for his officers' oversight is also reflective of a police leadership which is sensitive to the opinions and concerns of the public. The PKR president said that no one is asking for Lim to be given special treatment, just that the rule of law is applied fairly. And there was no conceivable reason to drag him away for hours of questioning on Christmas Eve, a festival he observes. It is not yet clear what statements the former finance minister is being questioned over. However, in June next year, the court will hear evidence from the prosecution against Lim, who faces 4 charges over the Penang Undersea Tunnel project.
Coming up next, another variant of the novel coronavirus has been found in Britain. That and more after this. Britain has found another new, potentially more infectious variant of the novel coronavirus in cases linked to South Africa.
We've detected 2 cases of another new variant of coronavirus here in the UK. Both are contacts of cases who have travelled from South Africa over the past few weeks.
Britain is already trying to curb the spread of a mutated strain of the novel coronavirus, which is up to 70% more transmissible, and has now detected 2 cases of another variant which could be more infectious. According to British Health Secretary Matt Hancock, the cases had close contacts with people who had travelled to South Africa. Hancock said that immediate restrictions were being imposed on travel from South Africa.
This new variant is highly concerning because it is yet more transmissible and it appears to have mutated further than the new variant that's been discovered in the UK. We've taken the following action. First, we are quarantining cases and close contacts of cases found here in the UK. Second, we're placing immediate restrictions on travel from South Africa. And finally, and most importantly, anyone in the UK who has been in South Africa in the past fortnight, and anyone who is a close contact of someone who's been in South Africa in the last fortnight, must quarantine immediately.
Last week, South Africa's health department said that a new genetic mutation of the virus had been discovered and might be responsible for a recent surge in infections in the country. In recent days, countries around the world have closed their borders to both Britain and South Africa following the identification of the new, fast-spreading variants of the coronavirus there.
An ICU nurse in the US beat the odds following an 8-month ordeal with COVID-19.
It was an emotional moment as nurse Merlin Pambuan was applauded by co-workers as she made her exit this week after 8 months of being treated for COVID-19 at St. Mary Medical Center in Long Beach, California, where she has worked for the past 40 years. Pambuan was brought to tears as she hugged the doctor and other healthcare workers who had helped her.
I'm thankful. This is my second life.
Pambuan, a veteran intensive care unit nurse who had been caring for COVID patients, was admitted to St. Mary's ICU in the spring. The 66-year-old was rendered unconscious by paralysis-inducing sedation and placed on a ventilator to breathe. A feeding tube was later inserted. Her attending physician said she was in a critical situation.
At multiple times, she was very near death. I would say this happened at least half a dozen times that she was very near death. We had a hard time keeping her oxygen compatible with life, and we had to use a lot of other treatment that improve her oxygen.
When she awoke and could breathe on her own again, Pambuan was too weak to stand, but she fought back and struggled through weeks of painful therapy to regain her strength. Now, Pambuan is finally home, where she will continue her recuperation. She said she feels indebted to her co-workers for their care. Pambuan also has a message for others who are fighting against the virus.
Don't lose hope. Just fight. Fight. Because look at me. You know, I'm going home and I'm walking.
Santa Claus gave his sleigh and reindeer a break on Wednesday and rode elephants in Thailand during a special Christmas visit aimed at raising awareness about the threat of the coronavirus.
Christmas arrived early in central Thailand, with elephants wearing Santa hats, spreading cheer and handing out face masks. White-bearded handlers in Santa outfits sat atop the elephants, which had been decked out in tinsel and masks to distribute protective masks in baskets to school children, motorcyclists and drivers passing by. The elephants have been paying year-end visits to schools in the area for 2 decades and normally give out gifts like candy and toys using their trunks. They would normally walk around the school to hand out the wrapped presents. However, this year they were social distancing, staying outside the school gates, and used their trunks to offer the face masks in baskets instead. The manager at a local elephant park said that the 4 elephants were there to encourage people to wear masks, wash their hands often, and to follow government instructions. Thai authorities have called for extra caution after its worst outbreak was confirmed over the weekend at a seafood center near Bangkok, with cases since detected in about a quarter of the country's provinces.
This is working. Working is not working. Working didn't begin with a B from Baroka, which is why working is struggling. Working is liking, watching, swiping, anything but working. No energy to work, it seems. Working needs to begin with a B from Baroka. An energy boost that helps you perform better at work. Begin with a B and begin working. Begin with Baroka.
And that is all from me today. For more stories, you can go to KiniTV.com. You can also follow us on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube and Facebook for the latest news updates. I'll be back with more tomorrow, same time, same place. I'm Michael. Thanks for watching and Merry Christmas.